Wizards guard Bradley Beal made news earlier this week when he claimed he and John Wall were undoubtedly the best backcourt in the NBA. Cavaliers guard Dion Waiters says, "Not so fast, my friend." That's nonsense. Bill's supposed to say that, but I know deep down he's not messing with me and Kai. I think me and Kai are the best backcourt, young backcourt. That's all. Stephen A., settle this for us. Best backcourt.
Well, first things first, Dion Waiters needs to be drug tested.
Okay.
Not just for saying what he said, but also feeling the need to articulate it for public consumption, particularly considering the fact that LeBron is going to be there, and with LeBron and with Love and with Kyrie Irving, he'll be lucky to get enough shots to validate how good he is.
That's a good point.
So let's keep that in mind. And I say that I'm just
affectionately,
because I do like Dion Waiters, meaning as a player. I do think he's talented, and I do think that he doesn't get enough shine. But pump the brakes just a little bit. Bradley Beal and John Wall are no joke. We understand. Bradley Beal reminds me a lot, Skip, of Allen Houston back in his day. John Wall is just electric, bit erratic at times, but very electric. But they don't need to be speaking too loudly either, considering the fact that they lost all 3 home games in their playoff series against the Indiana Pacers. Not only did you lose in the playoff series, you lost all 3 home games. I mean, my Lord. And by the way, one of those games was one of the most epically bad playoff games I've ever seen. It was horrific offensively. With that being said, this is the reason why this subject doesn't remotely interest me. I don't think it's even close. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson are the best backcourt in the NBA. It is unquestionably the best. They are skilled. They are marksmen. They are sharpshooters. Steph Curry, you know he's my favorite player to watch. He can boogie on anybody and pull up from 30. It's been a while since I said that, Skip, but pull up from 30. I'll be saying that a lot this year because that is what this brother does. Steph Curry is special. And Klay Thompson is no joke either. And when you consider the fact that Klay Thompson, he is underrated, Skip, from this perspective. He's a legit 6'6", 6'7". He can guard a 1, a 2, or a 3. Yeah. He can also cause matchup problems for a 1, or 2, or a 3. This dude can pull up from 3. He's got a mid-range game. He can take it to the hole. He loves to guard and defend. I love his upside because the best is yet to come from Klay Thompson, and we have already seen what Steph Curry is capable of. There is no question in my mind when you are talking about backcourt, unless LeBron James is suddenly playing the 2 position or the 1. Okay, you want to put somebody alongside him, or KD is playing the 2 or the 1, and you want to put somebody alongside him. In terms of backcourts, the best in the NBA resides in Golden State. Oakland, California. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson.
Fair enough. Back to the question. Do you remember when Josh Gordon... You did answer the question.
You did.
I'm going to start back to Dion Waiters and Kyrie, or Kai as he calls him. Josh Gordon came, sat right here, talked about the rift between those two as alpha males fighting for the spotlight, and he said that Dion is his neighbor in Cleveland, and it caused a big stir. But there's irony here because these two have had a hard time getting along in the first place. But I will tell you this. If we're just doing those two versus Wall and Beal, just in a vacuum, let's just say, because I don't even know how much Dion's going to get to play this year, you know, but let's just say in a vacuum, they're a starting backcourt versus Beal and Wall. Sure. I'm taking Kai and Dion. I'm taking them over those other two. Because you want to talk about, we just talked about, do you have killer dog in you? Dion Waiters has killer dog in him. He has an NBA body. He can play both ends of the floor. I like him a lot as a player, and I love Kyrie. Kyrie was we just talked about it. He was MVP of the last All-Star game, MVP of the FIBA World Cup.
Kyrie's big time, man.
Big time. Okay, so I'm sorry. He's right about what he said versus those two kids in Washington. They're still kids to me.
Right.
Okay, I'm with you that if we're talking, remember, he threw a word in late, Dion did, young backcourts. He didn't say backcourts, period. This is just me, and I'm going to have to defend my guys on this one. If we're just talking young or old backcourts, for my money, if the money's on the table, give me Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili right now today, and I'll take you on anywhere. I'll take that backcourt over Steph and Klay. Because 2 years in the playoffs, 2 years ago, go check what happened when those two played those two in, what was it, a 6-game series.
Yeah, but I love how you ignore the fact that Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, they've got just some dude named Tim Duncan laying in the area.
Don't care.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't care.
He's just laying back there.
Offense, defense.
And by the way, they got a system that they've been playing in for a decade. They got Greg Popovich as the coach.
Those two guards took apart those two Golden State guards.
Listen, I know they can play. I know they can play.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, nobody's saying that Steph Curry is some elite defender here because we know that he's not.
Thank you.
But it's
well,
not
you just said they're the best backcourt. I said I'm taking exception.
Talent-wise, they are the best backcourt.
I don't care about talent. I care about performance.
Well, again, you got to take performance into consideration while considering the coaches, the system, and familiarity and everything else. They're relatively young. So wait a minute. I love how you just sit there and ignore certain things. Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker have been playing together for a decade.
So?
That kind of counts.
Thank you. You're making my argument.
No. That kind of counts. I'm simply saying, not only have you been playing together, you've been playing for the same coach in the same system with the same future Hall of Famer who just happens to be the best power forward in history.
Yeah, who's like 48 years old.
And still can do it to anybody. And still can do it to anybody.
Wait.
So what I'm saying is, you just ignore those kind of things. I'm like this. Listen, if you're playing basketball and you're a liability defensively out on the perimeter, and you go up against a LeBron James, right? Look, force him to his right because he has difficulty going to his right and then pulling up. Force him to his right. Play this side. We're going to shut off half the court. We got Tim Duncan laying in the post. Now, let's say, for example, there's no Tim Duncan. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, Skip Bayless,
he's an old man.
Tim Duncan doesn't.
You are so wrong.
Tim Duncan and Popovich isn't there. And let's just say it's some novice coach. And, oh, by the way, Tiago Splitter is your guy.
Yeah.
All right.
And Aaron Baines is back there, too.
And Aaron Baines.
Yeah.
You don't think it would be a little bit different? You just ignore all the components that actually come with playing the game.
How about Andrew Bogut? Sorry.
Oh, you talk about Bogus? Yes.
Gentleman.
He's very upset.
Okay, so you
in a
say
vacuum,
you
I
said
will
you're
take
taking Tony
Parker and Manu over
and
any of these guys.
And you're
for
saying
the money.
It's Steph Curry
for
and
the money.
Klay.
The best backcourt in the NBA is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
All right, we need you on the Twitter to respond. # best backcourt.